Boom, 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 do, 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 doom, doom, doom. Doom, 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 do, 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 doom, doom, doom. I said time keeps on slipping, slipping, slipping into the future. I said time keeps on slipping, slipping, slipping into the future. I wanna fly like an eagle to the sea. Fly like an eagle, let my spirit carry me. I want to fly. Fly right into the future. I want to feed the babies without enough to eat. I want to house the people living on the street. I want to shoe the children, no shoes on the feet. Oh, well, there's a solution. 2020 American Silver Eagle. Hello, folks, and welcome to the Silver 5150 channel on Friday. It is Friday, people. It is Friday. Time for us to blow off a little bit of steam. Time for us to just kind of kick back and decide what we're going to do the next 2 days, because the boss man and the whistle ain't blowing. The time belongs to us. We own that time. The whole idea is to own your own time. That's the whole plan anyway. Now, time is not on our side anymore. Corona has seen to it that we don't control time the way we used to, the way we think we do. We don't. Everything's been kind of accelerated. Everything has been changed. Perspectives have been changed. Priorities have been changed. All that. Okay? And that was Fly Like an Eagle by Seal, originally by, I think, the Steve Miller Band. But, you know, this thing with time and this thing with flying like an eagle, the United States Silver Eagle, the Hallmark coin, it is a Hallmark coin simply because of the amount of money and research and effort put into making it. For example, it's 0.999 fine pure, so 0.999 fine pure. The 0.0001% that's in this coin is titanium, the strongest, lightest alloy you could have for a metal put into the United States Silver Eagle. By comparison, the gold Cougaran out of South Africa actually has copper in it. Now, how do you quantify that? But I guess that's what they had to work with, and nobody's going to turn down a Cougaran because it's still 1 ounce of pure gold, but it has that copper in it as its base metal to keep it sturdy. In our case, we have titanium inside the American Silver Eagle, making it the Hallmark coin, even though it's not 4 nines like some of the stuff out of the Royal Canadian Mint, but it's still quite a nice coin at 3 nines pure. In fact, I would think it would be the coin. And you hear that sound. That's the sound of silver. One day I'll do like a ping test when I have my tripod for my camera one day. But in any case, guys, look here, man. We got some problems. I'm gonna tell you something straight up. Now I'm not gonna be downer. I'm not gonna be a downer in this video, but I'm gonna tell you something you'll never hear Silver 5150 say. I'm Silver 5150, and I'm telling you right now, do not buy any more silver. Okay? Unless you've got a lot of other things ready to go. And I'm talking about the basics. I'm talking about food. I'm talking about a means to keep yourselves warm or cool. I'm talking about clothing. I'm talking about security, whether it be firearms or a security system or a security team that you have that goes around your place. Whatever the case, know what your resources are when it comes to that. I'm talking about water. I'm talking about access to clean air. And of course, you know, therein, all that outside is a shelter that you and your family be protected by. All right? So I'm telling you that if you don't have these things at a level you're comfortable with, do not buy any more silver until you do. Now, price is going to run away from you probably while you do that, yes. But guess what? You can live a lot longer waiting on getting silver than you can waiting on getting food, or especially water. So, and the reason why I tell you guys all this is because I went to Walmart again today. I did. I went to Walmart again today, and it was, guys, it was like an Al Gore movie. It was like the land, you know, it's like the Land Before Time or the Land that Time Forgot or The Day After Tomorrow. Take your pick. It was just weird. The shelves were even more empty than they were before. I'm not trying to incite a panic, but and the people that were there, they just seemed a little off, like they didn't want to be there, or wasn't expecting a lot. They were complaining about what wasn't available, huh? Yeah, and this is during a time when it's really not that bad. It's really not that panicked. What happens when the shelves are really bare and people really don't have anything? So, I got to thinking about it, and I remember when I first started stacking, back 7 years ago, it was a quieter community, and it was more of a prepper mindset to where, you're trying to get what you could get, make sure your family is protected, and devil take the hindmost. You don't have to outrun the bear, just a person that can't, right? Well, I don't see it that way anymore. Now, I can sit from a position of strength and say that because I've done a lot of things to get ready. But the more I think about it, the more better served we'll be by trying to be helpful and selfless when things start to turn a little crazy, all right? And look, maybe they will get the credit system fixed. Maybe the just-in-time delivery system will get back online. And remember, I was talking about the just-in-time delivery system. It encompasses all of the credit involved with the maintaining of the grocery stores, the department stores, the transportation to get things to and from, all right? But what I didn't mention yesterday is the just-in-time delivery system is usually no more than 5 days. All those groceries and all that stuff you see in your stores that, is there all the time and the shelves are always full? Well, if no truck came to that store, or Raley's, or Alpha Beta, or Safeway, in 5 days, that store would almost be empty. You'd find some grains of rice or something, around on the floor. But without that supply system, without the just-in-time delivery system, those grocery stores, they are naked and hurting in like 5 days, less than a week. So let's hope the powers that be are paying attention to what's going on and they're going to do something to try to fix this, because if they don't, it's going to get pretty messy. Now, I'm not going to keep on doomsaying or anything like that, but I am asking you to consider, if you're buying silver, you're getting into stacking. I know how it is. You get very excited when you get into stacking and you want to buy, but stop, take a look around, and just walk around with a piece of paper and a pen and look at the things that you normally like to use. Look at the things that you normally would buy and consume and need. Write down what you would need, and if you're able to swing it, try to buy twice or 3 times as much of those things to have ahead of time. Not saying that the store shelves are going to empty out completely or anything like that, but I think you just want to avoid going to the stores as much when the time comes. All right? So I'm going to tell you, I was watching, the markets and stuff, for the last 10 years. And here in the last 6 months, I've seen something really, really unusual. Government leaders were pretty much given a free pass to spend as much money as they wanted in an election year through stimulus, and they dropped the ball. Now think about that. Your government officials, it doesn't matter if it's the EU, it doesn't matter if it's the Chinese government, the United States government, these guys, they love to spend money. I mean, they give drunken sailors a bad name. Drunken sailors love to spend their money, throw it around. Oh no, that's a bad thing, a bad name on drunken sailors when you say that, the government spends like drunken sailors. No, they showed drunken sailors how to do it. And they were given a free pass to spend as much money on stimulus as they could, and they didn't take it. In fact, they got stingy about it. Now, we've got some top officials, Mitch McConnell and Chuck Schumer, up in our Congress in the United States, and these guys are sitting there, they're still in deliberations. Now, mind you, the last stimulus came out in April, okay? The last stimulus came out in April, and these guys are still discussing how they're going to diminish whatever stimulus comes out in September. Okay, here's the deal. Here's what I think is going to happen. They need to get their together and really quick, because if they don't get this money out to people before it's too late, they're going to have everything they had in the streets with the rioting times 50 before the end of the year, especially with the system cracking up the way it is. Now, what does that look like? That looks like stimulus for the people on a magnitude that has never been seen. I'm talking $1,000 a week for every man, woman, and child around the globe. However, government's got to do it. The only thing is that it's only going to work as long as the supplies last, because people are going to be buying things. And if you don't have people working, that's definitely going to be a problem. So you can't just do the stimulus, which is $1,000 a month for every man, woman, and child. You can't get the stimulus unless you go out and work. And the work that you're going to be doing is going to be public works. Just like China was doing, building ghost cities and stuff for decades, and nobody even noticed or said anything until later. And that's how they kept most of their people occupied, because China's got a lot of people. And a lot of those people were starving. Now, they're probably a little more mild-mannered than, say, over in the United States, where we love our freedom and we love our guns and stuff. But trust me, China was pacifying a lot of their population with make-work jobs or, public works jobs and, controlling the food supply just to keep things calm and normal. Okay? Well, that's what we're going to have to kind of do here. It'll be like the Great Society with FDR. Back in the 30s, times 100, okay? Because we got a lot more people. So that's what needs to happen with the stimulus right now. And for those of you libertarians out there, I know, you're saying, no. And the conservatives too. No. We need to have people pull themselves up by their bootstraps, and when they need to go out and earn the money. Well, let me explain something to you. The cat's out of the bag. When Jerome Powell was on 60 Minutes with Scott Pelley, back a couple of months ago, Scott Pelley, and I'm not a fan of his, but I got to give him credit. He really corralled Jerome Powell, the Federal Reserve Chairman, into the perfect corner to ask him the question, so, the money, how do you get it? And Powell was sitting there, and you saw he was squirming. He looked like he was wearing a sweater made of ants, and he just finally said, well, we print it. Really? Said Scott Pelley. Yeah, electronically, but we print it, And right there should have been an end of the interview. And if I was Scott Pelley, I would have turned to the people and said, now see, you guys have been working for it all this time, and these guys just created out of thin air. Just kind of chew on that, and we'll see you next week. Right? I mean, they should have just left it at that. Because the thing is, the dollar is infinite. It's infinite because it's not a store of wealth. It's not real money. It's just currency. It's just currency. And all it can do is be a medium of exchange, a unit of account. But it has no durability. It cannot fight inflation at all. In fact, it loses to inflation and is losing a lot. And like I said yesterday, it's actually picking up speed, losing to inflation as we speak. So if it's on the way out the door, why not have the dollar go out in a big party, give everybody a big fat handshake, head out the door, and then let's work on rebuilding whatever new currency is going to be, whether it's going to be electronic, crypto-based or hashgraph-based, maybe a integration or amalgam of all types of units, be it hard assets like these and cryptos. Okay? But look, the economy that was built on the dollar, it's done. I told you yesterday, most fiat currencies only last about 35 years. This thing's been around for almost 49 years. All right, since we were taken off the gold standard in 1971 by Richard Nixon. And the dollar, even if you're not here in the United States, it is the world's reserve currency, very much like the pound sterling was in Britain before that. But I'm going to tell you something else, too. If you don't think the situation is serious that we're dealing with, consider this. The population of the world would not be anywhere near what it is right now if it wasn't for the inception of these fiat currencies that are backed by nothing and the credit systems that they support. Because with all that unbacked currency, and credit flying around, that is a lot of capital, and that is a lot of money velocity moving through a population that thrives on money velocity. It'd be like having a bunny farm, a rabbit farm. You have a rabbit farm and you have genetically enhanced carrots that makes rabbits hungrier and, well, friskier. And trust me, the population of rabbits is going to grow. But what happens when you run out of carrots or grass or anything else to eat? Well, now, you got the issue with, the rabbits all hopping around going crazy. I know it's a bad analogy, but you get my drift. So it's not just a case of letting the dollar, die gracefully. It's also a case of having credit be rolled back and the derivatives that they support. And remember, we're talking about the derivatives. I should have bought out my Exeter's Pyramid. If you new guys out there don't know what Exeter's Pyramid is, it's an inverse pyramid where the point of it is headed down. And you're looking at all of the least liquid items at the top of the pyramid that form the largest part of the pyramid, upside down pyramid. And these lead down from derivatives and credit swap derivatives into currencies and just regular credit, from currencies and regular credit into real estate and into energy, and on down into, finally, the harder assets, precious metals, of which silver is not even on the pyramid because it is such a tiny, tiny market in comparison to gold. There's so much less available above ground investable silver than there is gold. But if you put that silver at the very tip of the spear, the very tip of the pyramid, then you can see that all of these non-liquid items, all these non-liquid assets have to evaporate, and that energy has to funnel down into the level below it, and the level below it, and the level below it. Before you know it, you've got something like $10 quadrillion worth of bogus, horrible financial energy. People trying to get out of those assets and move into something more solid, coming toward the most liquid asset on the planet. And guess what that is? The very one I told you not to buy unless you have food and water and air. Okay? Silver. Silver is actually even more liquid than gold simply because it is more attainable, it has a lower price point, and more people will try to access it. And more people will accept it. It's a better medium of exchange because it can help you buy less high ticket item things. You can get regular stuff, versus if you had an ounce of gold, now you're probably trying, like I said yesterday, to go after a car. Okay, that's great. What happens when you have 5 cars because you had 5 ounces of gold and you still got 10 ounces of gold and you need toilet paper? Well, you're going to have to buy a lot of toilet paper, or you're going to have to make a shopping list from hell to get your money's worth out of that ounce of gold. A combination of everything is great if you have gold and silver and, yes, copper. Now, okay, I tell you what. I'll make you a deal. If you have to buy some metal this weekend, but you don't have the other stuff in place, get the stuff you need to get. And if you can see a couple of dollars floating around here and there, go on to Golden State Mint and buy yourself some copper. Some bullion grade copper coins. If you want to get fancy, you can put them in capsules. You don't have to. But trust me, they're going to have their role in this deal when it's time for us to really step out and perform. And what I mean by that is we're going to be called upon, especially those of us that have prepared ahead of time and we have the assets in question. We're going to see circumstances, we're going to see events and things that could directly affect us or the ones we care about. And it's going to be clear that the only thing that can intervene or fix what's wrong is going to be the most liquid asset out there, and it's going to be silver. And that's going to be the answer for everything. If you have a security issue, lead is the better choice. But if you have a monetary issue, then bullion grade silver and gold are going to be the things that help you close the gaps on all those things you weren't able to be able to prepare for. With the exception of food. Food's going to be a tough one. Energy is going to be a tough one. But all the other durable goods types and staples and stuff, that's going to work out really well. All right? So if you are in a position of financial solvency, if you've been stacking your ass off like I have over the years, you need to be prepared to step up when the situation is right. And if you need clarity on when the situation is right, consider those times when you decided to help out a homeless person, because you don't do it all the time. You see them on the corners out the department stores. You see them, they got the perfect cardboard sign and, they got a smile on their face and they're waving and stuff. And sometimes they'll put John 3:16 on the sign or what have you. And, you get a feeling in your bones whether or not this is on a level or not. Because if that person that has a sign that says John 3:16 on it also has a pack of Marlboro Reds in his pocket, then that means he simply just made bad choices. And he still has a chance to make better choices and fix his own situation. But there's sometimes when people come to you and they don't look like they're really in need. And you can tell they are besides themselves, swallowing their pride to approach you. And those are the times you get the feeling in your bones to do something. And that's when God's talking to you. God will tell you when it's time for you to step in. He will. If you believe and you listen to him, you will hear him and he'll tell you when it's time for you to step in. And trust me, he's already prepared you to do all that. He's prepared me. He's prepared a lot of you. A lot of you that are coming here today, you're able to make great strides and stack a lot of silver. Hopefully you got your other stuff in order. But I'm telling you, that was for a reason. You're going to be called to do just more than take care of yourself or even the ones close around you. You're probably going to be called to take care of others that you don't even know. I'll give you an example. So today I had a package. Oh, it was this package here down in my leasing office for my new apartment. And it says, hey, you got a package. And so I get in there and the young clerk, she has this look on her face. She's like, this thing is really small and really heavy. I'm like, oh yeah, it's 22 ammunition. She's like, okay. And so she gives it to me and I'm walking out and she stops and she's like, excuse me. And I'm like, yeah. can I ask you a favor? And I'm like, why would they need a favor from me? I'm leasing the apartment from them. They're powerful, real estate magnates, this group that build out here. And she says, we could really, really use a good rating on apartments.com. And I was like, okay. And you could see she was visibly distressed. Now, as a macroeconomic follower, macroeconomic consumer, it is my assumption that somewhere in their business model, in their fabric, they can see numbers that are very, very disconcerting about where they're going to be in their fourth quarter, how many units are going to be filled as they continue building, because they still have that overhead. They still have those expenses from starting the project back when things were better. But now I think they can even see underneath, they're not going to be able to follow through and see the profits they were expecting to have when these apartments fill up. Now, I got mine, and I'm going to do everything I can to hold on to my apartment. But I can tell you this, and this is going to sound corny as hell when I say it. Because I want stability, because I want a bit of stability and serenity in my situation, if the need arises, I'm prepared to pay the entire bill for this building I'm in just to keep things normal. And the security that goes with it. There's a security that likes to run around here. They're very good, and they're armed and stuff. But all that stuff costs money, all right? And I'm prepared to come out of pocket, to maintain some solvency here in my situation. That's how extreme I'm willing to go, but that's how confident I am in silver and gold. But I have mostly silver, so I'm definitely confident in silver. Do you think for a second that if I had to go out and take those guys that are doing security, take them an ounce of silver a week, because according to the Bible and all throughout human history, a tenth of an ounce, which is 1/10 of this, is the equivalent of 12 hours of hard human labor, and I was to give these guys a silver eagle every week to be out there, I would do it. 2 silver eagles a week to be out there, especially when things are crazy. Absolutely. Because this is the kind of posture we're going to need to have to get to the other side. Now, why do I stack so much? Because I have a feeling that I'm going to have to come out and utilize some silver during this process quite a bit. And then I want to have some left over for the other side. And there'll actually be a transition between, things going bad now, then things being good, on the other side of this. I keep saying the other side of this is when the governments get their heads out of their butts and, start to put together a better framework, and we start to get back on track and back to some normalcy, and Hollywood opens and amusement parks open and the movies open and stuff, and people can get back to living a life of leisure and fun. The bars, oh my God, open the freaking bars. Just open them anyway. Just tell people, like, you social distance and make sure, you have your mask on and stuff like that. By the way, we have special masks that have straws in them, and you have that straw when you come in, you get a free 60-ounce margarita. It's anything to try to quell, the malaise that's on the way. But instead, here in a lot of places, they've closed, a lot of the recreational outlets down. But even in that particular case, you holders of silver and resources, figure out a way to maybe have a little fun at your place, your closest friends and family and stuff. Put together a secret party out there by the pool and stuff. Keep your social distancing, make sure your protective posture is going and all that good stuff. The kids are playing in the pool and whatnot. Take your vitamin supplements to make sure if anything slips through, it gets its ass beat and thrown out of your body. Do these things to pre-immunize yourself, to protect yourself, but also go into your resources to try to help maintain some normalcy for yourself and for those around you, the ones you care for. Okay? So we're going to be called to do a lot. As silver stackers, whether you're just new to stacking or you have been at it a long time, you'll find your niche, you'll find your, call to do something. And feel confident in doing it. Feel confident that you're part of this community. Because, to the degree that we can be, we'll be in contact. And in fact, I had a nice talk with a fellow stacker yesterday. I had a nice talk with Silver Joker yesterday. We called each other and stuff, and we basically just talked about the economy. It was kind of funny because it was like 2 teenage girls that had been pent up, and we were talking over each other, trying to explain the economy to each other, and we sounded contralto because we were saying the exact same things at the exact same time because, guys, this thing is real. This thing is real. We're dealing with. I do want you to go out and have a good time this weekend, however you got to do it. If you got to go over a friend's house and stuff, and like I said, sip on those 60-ounce margaritas around a pool, do it. Get the kids someplace where they can play and stuff and be out in the sun and do it. And get out in that sun if you can handle it, because that is some vital, vital vitamin D you need to help you fight the COVID. Okay? All right. So yeah, just keep an eye out, see where things are starting to get more stressful. If you can step in to make a difference, step in. If you need to protect yourself instead. All right. But hey, that's kind of where we're going to be at. Where we're going to be at. So go out and get the things you need. Look at the stuff you have in your home, the things you like to use. Make your list. Double or triple it if you can. Go out and get the supplies. And when you go out to get the stuff at the stores, knowing what you know, don't give off the energy in your body language. Don't, say things, that'll be alarming. Like today when I was walking around Walmart, I had my headsets on, man, and I had my Billy Idol on, and I was clapping, and dancing around and stuff, and, did a little bit of, plie when I got my Tupperware off the shelf and stuff and everything, and acting like everything's just fine and everything's all right. All the while getting ready. Okay? We've got to be the calm inside the storm. And we've got to be the recovery on the other side of it. I know you don't want to hear about the responsibility side of it, but this is the privilege of stacking. This is the joy of stacking. The joy of stacking is I have locked away untold amounts of economic energy and wealth. Because as you know, in a dollar, you lose every day to inflation. Not seeing a lot of prices go up in gas and stuff. Not seeing a lot of things happening in the prices of stuff. Just the quantity is diminishing. But if world leaders want to really, really fix things, they're going to have to expand stimulus in a way that nobody's ever imagined or ever thought of. The checks need to start rolling, if for no other reason, just to create a sense of morale. The public works programs need to explode into existence, and anyone with skilled labor, even unskilled labor people, get your buns out there and turn a road sign back and forth from slow to stop to go, if you have to, and get your $1,000 a week check from the government. Contribute and get your $1,000 a week check. If you got to sit in a wheelchair and do it, you can do it. If you got to be blind and do it, use Braille, on the handles, But government, put the people to work. Let's go ahead and get this big, new society plan going and stuff. And oh, by the way, you might want to go ahead and forgive all of the mortgages and all of the rent. And when I say mortgages, that includes the property owners that own apartments. Forgive their debt or defer it or whatever. Nobody pays to stay anywhere until we get past this. And I mean way past it. So what does that mean? That means that there's going to be printing presses going like crazy to create enough currency, or computers, mainframes overheating to get the currency out. And where is the offset going to be? Well, the offset's going to be in government and in the 1%. And now I know I sound like a Marxist when I say that, but the thing is, the disparity has always been there. There are the middle class, like myself. There are the lower class, well, I would say bottom class, economically speaking, that, are barely getting by. And then there's the 1%ers and the 1/10 of percenters out there. And so the offset's going to come from them. I'm sorry. That's just the way it has to be. If we're going to survive as a human race. Now, look, Jeff Bezos, Warren Buffett, Carl Icahn, you guys said it. We're all in this together. Okay, if we're all in this together, then that means put some skin in the game. If you got a little bit of skin, you just put a fleck in. If you got a lot of skin, just go ahead and peel that sleeve off and put some skin in the game. Because it is really, really that big and that critical. This will be the largest event in human history. And I did steal that from Chris Dwayne. All right, but I'm going to tell you, it's going to be one hell of a show. We've got tickets to it. Let's try to enjoy it. Let's try to make it enjoyable. Let's survive it, get through it, come out the other side, and redo things a little better. Those of us that are in a position to do so. So I think that's all I got for today. I know I said I was going to do an abbreviated show. I said we were going to have fun, but we're having fun because we're looking at these Eagles. But situations are what they are. Go out, get hammered, have a big old margarita, take it easy this weekend, get some sun, decompress to the degree you can, but know that having been awakened to what's going on means that you can't take a nap. You have to stay awake now. And not only be awake, but you have to wake those up that are willing to come out of their naps. Okay? Do that if you feel so inclined. And while you're at it, please like, share, subscribe, and comment. All right, guys. I really appreciate you. I'm glad you shared my Eagles with me. And actually, these aren't all my Eagles. Some of these are going to go to an investment group I'm doing some work with and stuff. But, it's just good to be able to get this stuff now while you can. But if you don't have the basics, don't do it. Get what you need first to live and survive day to day, and then take the rest. Put it in silver or copper or gold if you can afford it. All right, guys, Silver 5150 telling you to enjoy your weekend. And I'll see you on Monday with the morning update. Cheers.